Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev, who are recognized for having a lot of problems in their relationship, adopted a baby boy from an orphanage on November 1st, 2025. This was a big change for them. It all started with a picture. Darcey Silva tweeted a softly lit picture of herself holding a newborn baby boy on the morning of November 2nd. Georgi Rusev stood next to her with a smile of quiet pride. The caption was short and sweet. "Our hearts are full. Welcome to the world, little one." The post went viral on Instagram in a matter of minutes. Fans, followers, and other reality stars filled the comments with heart emojis, congratulations, and shocked amazement. This was a huge change for a couple who were more known for their loud fights and elaborate makeups than for their peaceful happiness. News organizations rushed to confirm the story. By noon, several sources had confirmed that Darcey and Georgi had adopted a baby boy from a local orphanage on November 1st. The couple took up the child after a quick but legal adoption process, even though the youngster was said to have been abandoned at birth. For Georgi Rusev, the adoption was more than just a news story. It was the realization of a long-held ambition. In earlier interviews and episodes of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Georgi had intimated that he wanted to be a father. He grew up in Bulgaria and often talked about how important family and legacy were. But the road to becoming a father was hard. Darcey, who was 52 and already a mother to 2 grown kids, couldn't get pregnant. Darcey and Georgi had often gotten into fights after talking about kids because Darcey felt like Georgi didn't understand her and Georgi felt like Darcey didn't listen. People who know the couple well say that the topic of adoption came up months ago during a quiet dinner in Connecticut. Georgi had said he wanted a son, and Darcey had listened without judging him, maybe because she sensed he was feeling weak. That night was the start of a journey that neither of them could have seen coming. Darcey Silva has never been afraid to change. She had been looking for change for years, from cosmetic surgery to spiritual retreats. But she didn't think she'd have to deal with being a mother again, especially at this point in her life. Friends report that Darcey had a hard time making the choice. Her kids, Aniko and Aspen, were helpful but careful. They knew that their mother had a passionate, unstable, and often traumatic relationship with Georgi. Would having a baby make things better or worse in the relationship? In the end, love was what made Darcey choose. One close friend added, "She saw how much Georgi wanted this, and she knew she could give more love." The adoption itself went quickly, but it wasn't a rash decision. The couple hired a well-known service that specializes in finding homes for orphan babies in an emergency. The infant boy was delivered too soon and left at a hospital. No one knew who his family was. Darcey and Georgi were authorized after a short legal evaluation and home visit. According to reports, the last call was made on the morning of November 1st. She was filming a part for her beauty brand when she heard the news. She is said to have cried and canceled the rest of her day. Georgi, who had been exercising customers at a gym in the area, ran home. They were holding their son for the first time at the end of the day. The internet almost all agreed. Happiness, adoration, and a little incredulity. Fans who had been following Darcey and Georgi's up-and-down relationship were shocked by how calm the pictures were. No drama or filters, just 2 people starting again. A lot of Instagram posts from other cast members came in. Darcey Silva, Darcey's twin sister, wrote a touching note that said, "I'm so proud of you, sis." People who didn't like the couple's relationship even stopped to think about how important this time was. There was a lot of talk on fan pages. What name would they give the baby? Would he be in future episodes? Would this impact the way their famously messy love story works? Of course, not everyone was sure. Darcey is 52 and Georgi is 36, which has been a source of conflict for a long time. Some people thought the couple would not be ready for the responsibilities of raising a newborn. Some people were worried about Georgi's financial stability, while others referred to Darcey's habit of making rash judgments. But defenders were quick to answer. One fan said, "There is no manual for love. They're doing something beautiful. Leave them alone." The argument brought out a deeper truth. Darcey and Georgi had always gone against what people thought they would do. Their love story has always been messy and compelling, and it doesn't fit into neat boxes. Why should being a parent be any different? Darcey put up a second picture on the night of November 2nd. This time, the baby was sleeping on Georgie's chest with his little hand around Georgie's finger. The caption said, "He's already changed us." This was a rare moment of rest in a relationship that was always moving. This time, there were no tears, no threats, and no big exits. There was just a man, a lady, and a child. They weren't related by blood, but by choice. The name Darcey Silva has become closely linked to the 90-Day Fiancé series. She has developed a brand on being open about her feelings, being vulnerable, and being glamorous since her first appearance on Before the 90 Days and her spin-off Darcey and Stacey. Georgi Rusev, who was first introduced as her Bulgarian love interest, quickly became a regular character in her story. People loved him, hated him, and always found him interesting. Fans have been able to see every twist and turn in their romance as it has happened. Their story on TV has included breakups, getting back together, therapy sessions, and dramatic confessions. But this adoption is different from what usually happens. It's not a story, it's a choice in life. And for once, the cameras weren't on. The couple's new baby boy, whose name has not yet been made public, came home on the night of November 1st. Friends claimed the residence was quiet, dark, and had calm music playing in the background. Darcey had set up a nursery weeks ahead of time, just in case. The youngster would find pale blue walls, soft toys, and a cradle with silk covering. Georgie, who is typically stoic, is said to have cried when he first held the baby. One friend recalled, "He just kept saying, 'Thank you,' over and over." The infant slept soundly all night on a cotton blanket. To Darcey, to the agency, to the universe. Darcey stayed up and watched him breathe. Darcey and Georgie are one of the few reality TV couples that have made people feel so strongly. Their supporters aren't just watching, they're going through an emotional trip with them. Reddit threads, Instagram fan pages, and YouTube reaction videos have gone over every part of their relationship. The adoption brought forth a surge of collective release. One fan wrote, "I've cried over Darcey's heartbreaks for years. Seeing her hold that baby felt like closure," one person remarked. "Georgie's always been misunderstood," another person wrote. "This proves he's serious. He's stepping up." It was clear that this meant a lot to him. Fans who had seen Darcey search for love across continents felt like they were coming home at this time. Stacey, Darcey's twin sister, is an important part of every story about her. Their friendship, which is both strong and weak, has been the foundation of their personal lives and their joint reality program. Stacey, who is a mother and a wife, is said to have been one of the first individuals to meet the newborn. A person close to the family added, "She was upset. She hugged Darcey and whispered, 'You did it. You really did it.'" Stacey's help has been really important. In the past, she has questioned Georgie's intentions, questioned Darcey's decisions, and campaigned for self-respect. But right now, she was next to her sister, not as a critic, but as someone who had seen her change. The adoption of Darcey and Georgie has led to bigger talks about age, parenting, and families that aren't typical. Darcey is 52 years old and joins a growing group of women who are becoming parents later in life. Her choice goes against what society expects and makes people think. People who write about things have noticed the change. One commentator said, "This isn't just a celebrity adoption. It's a statement about love, strength, and the changing meaning of family." Georgie's involvement also makes classic stories more complicated. His acceptance of fatherhood goes against preconceptions because he is a younger man from a different culture. They are a mix of identities, American and Bulgarian, old and young, chaotic and kind. Darcey and Georgie have mostly stayed offline since the adoption. They've stayed out of the public, except for a few pictures. Friends say they are focused on getting to know each other, learning, and getting acclimated to the routines of being a parent. Reports say that Darcey has canceled a number of public events. Georgie has also cut back on the tasks he has to do. Their home used to be the setting for drama, but now it is a safe place. The baby is doing well and is healthy, even though no one knows its name yet. He has started to listen to voices, hold fingers, and get used to a sleep routine. Darcey and Georgie take turns feeding the baby, and they often stay up late. It was the kind of news that didn't need a press release. A single Instagram post on November 2nd recounted the story. Darcey Silva, glowing and crying, carrying a baby boy in her arms. Georgi Rusev stood next to her, looking both proud and shocked. The caption said, "Welcome to our world, little one." The post went viral in a matter of hours. People who like 90 Day Fiancé and its spin-offs filled the comments with congratulations, heart emojis, and shocked reactions. For a couple whose relationship had been marked by public breakups, makeups, and intense fights, this moment felt like a quiet revolution. The adoption had only happened the day before, on November 1st. Sources close to the couple say that the kid was left behind during birth and taken to an emergency room. Darcey and Georgi had been working with a local adoption agency for a few months when they heard about the chance and jumped at it right away. By the end of the day, they had their son. For Georgi, this was the moment he had been dreaming of for a long time. He had talked freely about wanting to be a father in prior interviews. Georgi, who grew up in Bulgaria, constantly talked about how important family and legacy are. But Darcey couldn't get pregnant, and their relationship was often rocky, so the dream looked far away. Darcey, who already had 2 grown daughters, didn't think she would have to be a mother again. She had a full life with a beauty line, a reality show, and public engagements. But things have changed in the last few months. Friends say she started to think more thoroughly about her relationships, her mission, and the type of love she wanted to leave behind. During a quiet night at home, the thought of adoption came up. Georgi had been particularly reflective, talking quietly about his childhood and the kind of father he wanted to be. Darcey listened and didn't interfere this time. That night, they started looking into agencies. The process went rapidly. The infant boy was born too early and didn't have any known relatives, so he may be placed in an emergency situation. Darcey and Georgi had no trouble passing the home study and background checks. They got the call on November 1st, after their application was granted. The agency contacted when Darcey was making a video to promote something. She is said to have cried, canceled the shoot, and fled home. Georgi, who had been training customers at a gym nearby, abandoned everything and went with her. They were parents by the time the sun went down. The baby's arrival changed their home. Darcey had set up a nursery weeks before, just in case. The youngster would find pale blue walls, soft toys, and a cradle with silk covering. Georgi, who is generally quiet, sobbed when he held the infant for the first time. A close friend added, "He kept saying thank you." To Darcey, to the agency, and to the world. People on social media were really happy. Fans who had been following the couple's rocky road were shocked by how calm the pictures were. There were no filters or drama, just 2 people starting over. Even many who had been against him for a long time stopped to think about how serious the situation was. Other people from the 90 Day Fiancé realm joined in. Stacy Silva, Darcey's twin sister, wrote a touching note that said, "So proud of you, sis." Other reality stars agreed, calling the adoption beautiful, brave, and unexpectedly perfect. But not everyone was on board. People have been arguing about the couple's age difference for a long time. Darcey is 52 and Georgi is 36. Some others wondered if they were ready for the hard work of taking care of a baby. Others brought up their past history of emotional instability. Still, defenders were ready to act. One fan said, "They're not perfect, but they're trying. And that baby is lucky to be loved so fiercely." The argument brought out a deeper truth. Darcey and Georgi have always done what people didn't anticipate. Their love story has never fit into neat boxes. It's always been messy and magnetic. Why should being a parent be any different? After they adopted, the pair stayed out of the public eye for a few days. They stayed offline save for a few pictures. Friends say they are focused on getting to know each other, learning, and getting acclimated to the routines of being a parent. Darcey called off a number of public appearances. Georgi cut back on the amount of work he did. Their home, which used to be a place for drama, became a safe place. It is said that the infant, whose name has not yet been made public, is healthy and doing well. He has started to listen to sounds, hold hands, and get used to a sleep pattern. Darcey and Georgi take turns nursing the baby, and they often stay up all night together. Their relationship, long defined by volatility, has thawed. Friends say that they are being more kind to one another. Georgi used to be accused of being emotionally distant, but now he spends hours reading parenting manuals. Darcey, who often thinks about how she looks, has started writing in a journal about being a mother. The change is small but very important. They don't have to act for cameras or fans anymore. They're only trying to be decent parents. The adoption has also led to bigger talks about aging, becoming a mother, and families that aren't traditional. Darcey is one of many women who are becoming parents later in life. Her choice goes against what society says is normal and makes people think. People who write about it have said it's important to culture. A columnist wrote, "This isn't just a celebrity adoption. It's a statement about love, strength, and the changing meaning of family." Georgi's involvement makes classic stories more complicated. His acceptance of fatherhood goes against preconceptions because he is a younger man from a different culture. They are a mix of American and Bulgarian, old and young, and chaotic and sweet. Their story is more than just about adoption. It's about love that you choose. Fan culture has reacted with a lot of emotion. Threads on Reddit, fan pages on Instagram, and reaction videos on YouTube have all broken down every minute. One fan wrote, "I've cried over Darcey's heartbreaks for years. Seeing her hold that baby gave me a sense of closure. Some people thought it was a redemption arc. Georgi's always been misunderstood." Someone more wrote, "That shows he's serious. He's stepping up." It was clear that this meant a lot to him. This moment felt like coming home for fans who had seen Darcey chase love across continents. You can't say enough about Stacey Silva's part in the story. Her relationship with Darcey, which is both strong and weak, has been the foundation of both their personal life and their reality program. Persons say that Stacey was one of the first persons to see the infant. She hugged Darcey and exclaimed, "You did it." A family friend responded, "You really did it." It has been very important for Stacey to help. In previous seasons, she has questioned Darcey's decisions, Georgi's motives, and campaigned for self-respect. But right then, she stood next to her sister not as a critic, but as a witness to change. Other reality stars have also thought on the couple's decision to adopt. Many people have written on how important chosen family is, how beautiful second chances are, and how brave it is to start over. Darcey and Georgi used to be the talk of the tabloids, but now they are examples of how to change. Darcey tweeted another picture on November 3rd. The baby was sleeping on Georgi's chest, and his little hand was wrapped around Georgi's finger. The caption said, "He's already changed us." It was a rare moment of calm in a relationship that was always moving. This time, there were no tears, no threats, and no big exits. Just a man, a woman, and a child. They are not related by blood, but by choice. Now their house is quieter. People who know Darcey claim she spends hours watching the infant sleep. Georgi sings Bulgarian lullabies. They've started to talk about their daily lives, their goals, and the kind of parents they want to be. They didn't adopt to make their relationship better. They adopted because they thought love could grow. To add, to get better. And by doing this, they've reminded fans, critics, and themselves that change is always possible. That even the most dramatic love stories may end in peace. You don't just get a family, you choose, care for, and defend it. Darcey and Georgi are no longer merely reality stars. The world is watching. They are the parents. And in that capacity, they've found something real. Something to keep. The house is less noisy now. Not quiet. There's the subtle hum of a white noise machine, the occasional wail from the nursery, and the steady sound of footsteps pacing the corridor at 3 in the morning. But the pandemonium that used to be a part of Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev's home is gone. Something slower, softer, and much more sacred has taken its place. Darcey and Georgi have stayed out of the public eye since they adopted their baby son on November 1st. There haven't been as many posts on Instagram. The promotional events have been put off. The cameras, which used to be a part of their lives, are now off. What is left is a family that is new, not perfect, and very dedicated to learning how to love in real time. People who have been there say it has changed. Darcey used to be obsessed with beauty and brands, but now she spends hours watching her son sleep. She has given up her contour palettes for burp towels and her red carpet dresses for nursing robes. Georgi has changed as well. He used to have trouble putting his feelings into words, but now he hums Bulgarian lullabies to the infant, his voice low and steady as he soothes the baby to sleep. They feed each other in turns. In the nursery's dim light, they sometimes do it jointly, sitting next to each other and passing the bottle back and forth like it was a holy object. They've started to talk to one another in whispers, not because they want to keep things secret, but because they respect each other. The baby, who still doesn't have a name, has become the most important thing in their lives. Things weren't always like this. Their relationship, which started on reality TV, was rocky from the start. Millions of people saw breakups, makeups, and dramatic fights. Some fans cheered for them, while others asked Darcey to go. But there was always a thread of desire running through it all. Georgi wanted everything to stay the same. Darcey wanted love that didn't pain. Everything changed after the adoption. It wasn't a publicity stunt or a twist in the plot. It was a choice. A conscious, exposed, and very human decision to create something enduring. To move away from show and into substance. It was a wet afternoon when the baby came. The call came right after Darcey finished filming a part for her beauty brand. She dropped everything and ran home, crying the whole way. Georgi, who was training clients at a nearby gym, canceled his sessions and met her at the door. They were holding their son by nightfall. The nursery had been ready for a long time. The youngster would find pale blue walls, soft toys, and a cradle with silk covering. Darcey had chosen each item carefully and decorated it herself. One buddy added, she wanted it to feel like a dream. Not just for the baby, but for Georgi too. When Georgi held the infant, he sobbed. Not the quiet tears of a man trying to keep his cool, but the loud cries of someone who had waited too long to be this happy. The friend remembered that he kept saying, thank you. To Darcey, to the agency, to the world. The infant slept all night. Darcey didn't. She sat next to the cot and watched him breathe, taking in the shape of his fingers and the curve of his mouth. She whispered assurances of love, safety, and being there. Georgi came to see her at morning with coffee and a blanket. They didn't talk. They didn't have to. They started to get into a routine in the days that followed. Every 3 hours they get fed. Changing diapers every hour. Naps in between. They learned how to read the baby's signals, such as his hungry cry, his sleeping whimper, and his frightened flinch. They also learnt how to read each other. To know what someone needs, to give them comfort, and to help without being asked. Aniko and Aspen, Darcey's daughters, came to see her a lot. At first, they were careful, protective of their mother, and unsure of what Georgi wanted. But the baby made them feel better. Aspen responded, he's magic. He's good for everyone. Stacy Silva, Darcey's twin sister, was one of the first people to meet the infant. She brought little shoes, a silver rattle, and a picture of Darcey as a baby in a frame. She cried as she hugged her nephew. She said to Darcey, you did it. You really did it. The response from the public was huge. Fans sent a lot of messages of love and support on social media. One person wrote, this is the Darcey we've been waiting for. Not the glam queen, not the heartbroken woman, but the mother. Others commended Georgi for stepping up and displaying an aspect of himself that had been buried for a long time. A fan wrote, he's not just a boyfriend anymore. He's a father. But there was more than just praise, there was a collective sigh of relief. For years, people watched Darcey seek love across continents, deal with heartbreak after heartbreak, and hold on to optimism even when things went wrong. The adoption brought closure. Like getting better. Like the start of something real. The change kept happening within the house. Darcey started writing in a journal, filling pages with thoughts, anxieties, and small victories. Georgi began to cook more, making dishes that made him think of home. At night, they lighted candles, played soothing music, and danced in the kitchen with the baby between them. They didn't discuss about what had happened before. Not the battles, not the breakups, and not the attention from the public. They paid attention to the here and now. The first time the infant smiled, cooed, or held Georgi's finger. They were happy about the little things. A full night's rest. A good burp. A peaceful time to connect. They also started therapy, which included combined sessions that focused on parenting, communicating, and controlling their emotions. Their therapist added, they want to do this right. Not just for the baby, but for them too. The sessions were tough. They dug up ancient wounds, questioned their beliefs, and made them face patterns. But they didn't leave. They paid attention. They got bigger. Life went on outside the house. The world went on. But within, time moved slowly. Days and nights blended together. Milestones took the role of headlines. Drama was replaced with love. The youngster is over a week old now and can tell voices apart. When Darcey talks to him, he turns his head. When Georgi hugs him, he settles down. He's learning to have faith, to be safe, to fit in. And they are too. Darcey used to be defined by longing, but now she radiates happiness. She doesn't want anything anymore. She cares for others. She is here. She is whole. Georgi, who used to be shy and misunderstood, now shines with purpose. He isn't proving anything. He is coming. He loves. He's in charge. They have made something really special. A family that is not blood-related but chosen. A love story told through lullabies and late-night feedings. A miracle happening right now in silence. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.